brought me so much joy the past 7 months. I am so excited to see everybody.
Oh, thank you guys for loving on her in the chat. So tell me about you. Let's go back to the beginnings if you don't mind, and then we'll go further.
Well, I can beat you at the lowest weight because I started off at 3 pounds, which in 1967 was a big deal. But I gained speed quickly. So I think I started gaining weight as a kid, probably by 8 or so. I definitely had parents who had to go put me on skim milk and do that kind of thing. So it was always a little bit of a concern. I was always on the bigger but shorter kids in class, so that's cool. Um, we weren't a really physically active family, so I will say I never really enjoyed all of the running, and I can't ride a bike still, and those kinds of things that really would have helped me get off to a really good start. Um, but I was always a happy kid. I just was bigger than everybody else. So over the years, I tried different things. Looking back now, I think I always felt so much bigger than all my friends, but I look back and I was, 160 pounds or something? If only I weighed now what I weighed then. But,
Isn't that true? Isn't it? Like we look back at pictures, I think we can all do that. And we just feel so horrible, whatever we're going through, right? We're feeling like we're just like the worst opposite of everybody. And we look back and go, wait a minute, why didn't I have this confidence like I do now? Or just, understanding of that and live my life. It just shows you how important it is to like live your life in that moment and enjoy every moment.
totally. So I went through things. Let's see, I definitely did Jenny Craig, getting ready for my wedding. I did a whole big crash diet in college, got down to 106 pounds, still a size 10 though. Totally unfair. Bodies are weird.
Yeah.
But so I've definitely crash dieted a few times, and I'm sure that has messed up metabolism and made everything harder. But cruised along with really no health problems at all. In my late 40s, I got a little hypertension, but I've got a family history of that and controlled it with medication. I know a lot about nutrition because we've all dieted a bazillion times. So not much of a snacker, and always kind of knew about whole foods and everything, but still the weight kept coming. And then I think after menopause, for sure, things got worse. So low point for me, my daughter got married last year, and I wanted to look beautiful in the pictures, and I do look beautiful. I'm just big. So at that point, it was about 280, and I said, it's time to do something. So I've seen some friends have some good luck with medication. My insurance won't cover it, but I then did some research and learned about compound. So I started compound tirzepatide back in September. So, and it's been slow and steady for me. I think as a person who's been obese most of my life, definitely I'm on the slow end. So I'm definitely about a pound a week. So I've lost 33 pounds so far.
Christy, that's not slow.
I know it's not slow. I hear your voice in my head. I know. You tell me every day. So I'm trying to keep a good perspective about that. But overall, I think the thing for me, it was the first shot, the food noise went away. And I went, oh.
So explain that to the crowd, if you don't mind, like what that means to you, that kind of thing.
I think I was always someone who enjoyed food. I've gotten a lot of pleasure in life from food. And that food noise is every minute thinking about what am I going to eat next. If you're eating lunch, you're thinking about dinner. You're thinking about things down the week. And from the very first shot, it quieted everything down. And it helped me to realize, that all of this, there's more going on here than just me being terrible at things. And which, that's really transformative. So
it is so true, right? It's like, oh my God, we're not as horrible as we think we are.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But so since then, it's been really easy to eat in a calorie deficit. You eat until I know when I'm full. I know when I've had enough. I never eat till I'm full. I just know, when to stop. And it makes it so easy. So it makes you feel like, I actually can do the things that I already knew were good for me, which then eliminates some of those guilt bombs. It's just such a difference in terms of feeling like it's not my fault. It relieves so much of the shame and the stuff that you carry for so long, going, why can't I do what everybody else seems to be able to do? So, if I already have imposter syndrome enough of the rest of my life that, you feel like everybody else must know how to do a thing that I don't know how to do.
I love that. I love you express that. I love the term guilt bomb too.
There's a lot of those in life. So now I'm just, doing my thing, and every day is a new day. I've been able to, go on vacation and enjoy things. I can just have what I want, but I just have a little of it. So it's really kind of funny that, I don't feel constrained by the medication. I like the things that I like, and definitely me and raspberries are buddies for sure. My raspberry budget, it's a whole line item
I
now.
love that. That's a good thing to be into.
Yeah.
I love that you said constraint. You don't feel constrained. I'll have people up here that says, but don't you sad that you don't have that comfort or whatever, or sad that you can't live like, in their mind, they're thinking, well, if I go on vacation, I won't be able to enjoy myself. But so explain to us what you mean by you don't feel constrained, because that might help someone in the chat.
Yeah, this isn't a diet. This is just living your life, and as long as you are, prioritizing protein and fiber, and so if I approach every meal with that in mind, then everything just kind of falls into place. I can have chocolate cake. I'm going to have this much of it, and it's going to last me for four times. But there's nothing I can't have. It's really interesting how the things that I want have changed over time, though, too. One funny thing, I have done a lot of social drinking. My favorite hobby is going to craft breweries, and I'm a member of several wineries, and that has stopped. My God, I have so much wine sitting in my cupboards undrunk because I just don't want it.
Your friends are like, Christie, what is happening?
Well, and I can go and have a beer with friends, but I have a beer and they have their normal, and they're like, "What's up with that?" But it's just the way the medicine just makes me not need it, and so it makes you realize how much you rely on that for social lubricant or other stuff, and I don't need it for that either.
I love your words. Thank you for sharing that, social lubricant. I love that. So Linaloo has a question in the chat. I'm sorry, not Linaloo, Diane. How do you get all your water in? So maybe focus on that. You can give her
That's the first habit that I did, because I think I was worried about that too. I knew that was important. And I've watched all my friends at work with their water bottles for years and be like, oh, I don't want to have to carry a thing. This is dumb. But I bought myself a cute water bottle, and now I have a cute home water bottle and a cute work water bottle, and I love them. And so now it's just part of my routine. I get to work and I fill it up, and I drink one full 40 ounce or whatever before lunch, and then at least one after, and one at home, and then there's my water. So it's been really, really easy.
How did you build that routine up? How did you build that up?
Well, first I had to be intentional about it. Like, I bought the thing and then I wanted to show off my new toy. So I had to go, bring it around, and then I got some stickers. So I had to go show it off that way. And then it was the thing to think about doing every day. And then now it's just habit. So I don't think about it at all, which is great. So that's kind of how habits are supposed to work, right?
Absolutely. And it takes time. It takes effort. It takes, your thought process of, okay, now I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this. But once you do it and it becomes this new routine that you stack on with other things, it becomes something you don't think about anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love it. I love your story. So how does your family and friends around you feel now, or how does that dynamic work with your?
I haven't told everybody. It's fine. I just went on a work trip a couple weeks ago and ended up at a group dinner, and we somehow the subject of GLPs came up, and it turns out 3 of us sitting at the table had been on it, some of which over a year, and of course no one had said anything. And I went, oh, this is really fun to have colleagues that you can talk about this with. So I don't have anybody in my personal life that is on it that I know closely. So I don't really have anybody to keep talking about it with. But I did say something I have a grown daughter who's 29, and she was upset about all the commercials for GLP-1s and talking about the pressure of GLP-1s. She's a normal weight human, so she doesn't need them. But she was, talking about the societal pressure that those commercials were having, and how come everybody needs to be on one. And then I had to say, like, well, actually, I have news. And so then she was like, oh, well, then how do you feel? I'm like, but I feel great. My mind is so quiet. It's so good. So I think, like, even if I didn't lose another pound, I would stay on it because of that. So
that's an interesting thing, right? Someone in the world that doesn't have this disease, that may not understand the medication, and now they're being bombarded with all of this, we see it everywhere now, right? And that's just interesting perspective of someone on the outside thinking, well, what is this? Everybody just needs to calm down. Why is this so hyped? Like, Why can't they just get it together themselves? Like, I think it's an interesting viewpoint of someone out there expressing that.
Yeah.
So someone asked about how do you flavor your water if you feel like you do? Do you do that?
I've tried all the different things. I like the element ones, but they're too salty, so I try not to do those very often. But I use Ultima replenishers most of the time, and I'll do a half scoop. I don't like the fake sweeteners very much, so I try to do. So it's just a little bit to make it taste not like plain water all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind
And
of
I like, and I'm the opposite. I like plain water. I don't like anything in my water. So we have someone in the chat asking about our dosing. Remind everybody again how long you've been on it and what dose you're on now.
Yeah, and so I've been on it since September, so that's 7 months. And I've gone up pretty regularly because I think I'm still trying to find the therapeutic dose. But I just went to 15 about 2 weeks ago, and I feel great on 15. I will say, I really feel in control of everything, and I haven't had side effects. So
I love that. It's such a great example of how different everybody is, right? So, again, we have Christie, who is on the highest dose in, you said 7 months, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been on this for 2 years and now still on 10, and I've been on 10 for a year. But that just shows you how everybody's different. And and I think it's good to talk about because people on the interwebs will look at things and try to copy people, right? Or they think, well, you have to be here to have the success, or you have to be here and see how different it is for everybody. I think that's an important
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that you hear so much on both sides, like, oh, don't go up until you're ready, and don't go up. And we do the whole diet culture to ourselves. Then if you can stay on 2.5 and lose all your weight there, then you're better somehow.
Right.
It's bananas.
You don't get a medal for any dose level.
Right. And then you hear Jamie, who talks about being on 15 for as long as he has. And so okay, there is no perfect thing. It is only listen to your own body and see what you think you need. And so I've been trying to do that.
Yeah. And Josh asks a point, how long before you up your doses? And again, everybody's different, right? You up your dose when you need that therapeutic dose to be helpful for you. That's
I followed the lead of my telemed
absolutely
at first, and then now I'm kind of choosing my stuff. I'm at the highest level, so it's working fine. But, at least 4 weeks, 4 to 6 to 8.
So in your lived experience, we have a question here from Ray, or a statement, I guess. Been on a dose for 4 months and no change. So what would you tell someone in your lived experience if that were to happen to you? No medical advice, but what kind of advice would you give, Ray?
I could probably repeat your speech from scratch about going to the Jamie video about stalls and to go through everything. But I think first of all, talk to your doctor because you want to make sure you're under supervision with this. This is a medication, so they may know what's going on with your body and have other ways of testing. But if you have been on the same dose, you've been doing, take a look at your other habits. Have you been getting sleep? Have you been doing water? Is your activity the same? Your fiber, your protein, all those macro elements, your stress level. There's so many different things that can go into weight. So it's not a flat thing. So you would just, once you have that in mind, then you could try it and see what happens and see if you get the results that you want. But it isn't that it's a panacea and it's going to automatically fix the thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we had another lady in the chat asking the same thing. All of those habits that we're trying to build, that foundation needs to be solid and looked into. It's something that we have to constantly kind of check to make sure that we're doing our part. And Lynn said in the chat that she is thankful that we're talking about this because she felt bad about needing to go up when others didn't have to. And that's the thing. It's just really understanding the education on a therapeutic dose, and it's going to be different for everybody. And that's okay if you have to move up. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you had one thing that you would tell someone if they were about to start or whatever, what would be the thing that you would say?
I'll say the same thing everybody always says, which is don't compare yourself to anybody else. Because when I first started, I went on TikTok to go, learn my advice from TikTok University. And I definitely fell into, a lot of those creators that are affiliates for different telemeds or whatever doing their thing. And they're like, I lost 10 pounds a month and I lost 100 pounds in 8 months. And you think, oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be me. And then when your progress is different, you can feel so discouraged. And so it's really important to for me, I went and found more voices and found you and found Jamie and learned about what's a more realistic timeline and it made me realize that there's not one size for this. And so you just have to, like all of life, you just have to trust your gut, go with yourself, take the time that you take. It's not a race. This is a lifestyle. And so I'm going to get there when I damn well get there. It's the same way I do the rest of life. So
Absolutely. I love that. So non-scale victories, I think it's important. You know, a lot of people come on here with that negative self-talk. And so it's so important to be able to really think about how we talk to ourselves. And it could be through just what we say in our head, or we could write things down or whatever. What would be something that you do to help your negative mindset when it comes to that?
I do have a little notes app on my phone where I have my wins. I want to be able to remember that things changed on this journey because, every day can be very much the same. And so you forget that things are moving forward. But I definitely I had to move my bra strap a tighter hook like that. That felt like a win. Starting to shop my closet now for the things I'd stopped wearing because I'd gotten bigger. I haven't really dropped sizes yet, but things are fitting differently, which is nice. I can see my feet when I sit in the car. That's a big deal. I can get closer. There's more room between me and the steering wheel. Can just move around a little bit easier. And I didn't need a seatbelt extender the last time I took a flight. So it's all those little things. My A1C, I just got that retested and it's back in normal range, which is great. So it's a bunch of different things, none of which, and my double chin went away. So that's probably the one I'm most excited about. So
Right. I hear you. So we've got a lot of people in the chat saying, oh, I get it. We can be hard on ourselves. It's hard to be my own cheerleader. Tatiana says, thank you for this. I needed this today. So those things that you've recognized, what helps you to recognize those things? Like what helps you to really see those things?
I mean, it depends on the day, right? Some days I'm like, oh, this is the slog and I don't feel like it. But I think just remembering that every day is a new day, a new start, and not getting too hung up on any one instance and one situation. I didn't get this weight overnight, and I'm not going to get skinny overnight. So it's just going to be a journey like everything else, and you might as well enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. I love that you said enjoy the ride, because I feel like we wait to get excited. We wait to feel happy. We wait to feel kindness to ourselves, right? And give us that grace and it's the worst thing we could do, because I hate saying journey, so I call it an adventure, but there is no end point to this. So once you realize that, we got to live in the now. We've got to take those wins and those daily things that we see all the time, like you were saying, and just ride that out.
I think that's the biggest difference about this, not journey, this experience that we're all having. I think it's not a diet. I'm not torturing myself for a short-term thing to get to an endpoint. I am rebuilding all the elements of my life to have a life that suits me in this phase the best they possibly can. So that means nothing's off limits, and I can make choices every day, and no is a complete sentence, and all the same life lessons that you get anyway, that I think make over time build all of the elements to make a really fulfilling life, even if it's little by little by little. So
yeah. When you say fulfilling life, right? So we think about this now. Okay, yes, we want to look good. Yeah, we want to lose our weight, but what do you want to have changed? Or what did you think at first? Like, okay, I want my life to be better. And so what do you think about when it comes to your life and what's going to be in store for you? What are the positive things that you want to do and think about,
Yeah, I want to feel more confident in my body. I will say that as someone who really never tested the physical limits of her body, I think I'm looking forward to doing some more things like that. I definitely, my retirement plan, I'm going to go walk the Camino in Spain. So it's a couple years off still, but I'm definitely.
Christie in this community, she had been wanting to do that. She's changed her plan, but that is what a cool thing to be thinking about.
Yeah, so I definitely thinking about, and I've done some smaller. I've done the breast cancer 3-day and stuff where you do 20 miles in a day. But the last time I did it, I couldn't quite do the 20 miles. My legs started to give out. So I definitely looking to build up my stamina about those kinds of things. And I don't want to feel inhibited by my size about the choices I make about things.
Yeah, I love that. So you're a walker, huh?
I have been a walker. I am not a walker right now. This is the piece of that I think I still have shame about. I've got this walking pad in my living room that I am having the hardest time getting onto every day. And so I definitely am taking both yours and Jamie's emphasis on resistance training to heart. So I've got my kettlebell. I'm doing my 100 kettlebell swings, and I'm doing my ab and my arm workouts and my leg. I can do resistance training a lot easier than I can motivate myself to walk, even though walking has been a thing I have liked in the past. I don't know. That's my habit, my brain thing I have to get over for this next phase. So we'll see.
So do you like to walk outside, or what is your main issue with having the time to do your walking?
And I think I have a pretty demanding work schedule. So right now work inhibits me from being able to get out, but I also just don't make myself do it. So I think there's a twofer. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I know I have to have some sort of stimuli when I walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love talking with people. Thank you so much, Christy, for coming on. Does anybody have any questions for Christy at all before? And we don't have to let you go either, but where do you learn what to do for resistances? Where do you learn what to do for resistance training? Do you have something like that?
I do. I have two great presenters who have done some really great things about easy workouts that you can do at home. So one of them is right here. AJ, let's talk about it. She has some wonderful daily beginner workouts that you can do with not any extra equipment. And also Jamie Selsler's at-home workouts. He does one on YouTube that's a half-hour workout that's really easy, and a bunch of individual things on TikTok that you can find a whole playlist. And they're all things that I love, the things that you can do without having to get on the floor. There's some things about them that make it, you don't talk yourself out of it before you start, because they are easy and not demanding. And there's a couple other, that Grow with Joe on YouTube. There's some really easy, fun, like dance workout kind of things. And there's a TikTok creator, John Knoll, who does he does a lot of differentiating movement for people with different abilities. So it makes you feel like, oh, I could change that plank and I could do it this way against the wall. And that way, that's something I feel like I could do now. And so just being able to accept your body where you are and feeling like, oh, I can start here. And when I get to the next step, I'll know it. And then I can ratchet it up a little bit when I feel ready, but only when I feel ready, because it's not a race.
Absolutely. It's so critical. We have to feel ready to go. So we have a question, of course, about water in the chat. We know at least 64 ounces is the gold standard of water. But what about you? Like if someone's saying, hey, Christy, what about water? What kind of advice do you give them about that?
To start. I mean, it's been the easiest thing now in retrospect. Like I think I fought for so long water, and it's actually been so good for me and so easy to do. And it's something now if I don't drink enough water, I really feel it. Whereas before, I think I just wasn't drinking very much. And it's been an easy thing to add. And I really do feel like when I bought my cute water bottle, it was a nice way to pamper myself. So I look forward to seeing my work water bottle when I get there. Like, it's just a silly thing, but I think it's the little things that you're making yourself a priority. And so when you can see that thing as an element of that, it makes you treat yourself better all day long.
Absolutely. So we have someone in the chat, and this is an interesting phrase that they used, and maybe in your lived experience, help them to see. So they're asking, what's the best advice you can give a person that can't lose the weight fast?
It doesn't need to be fast. Why fast? We're all working on it a little bit at a time. If we did an ounce a day, it would still add up. So, an ounce a day is 2 pounds a month. So heck.
Right. I always remind people, listen, we didn't start out eating a filet mignon as a baby. We aren't going to build a house fast and make it last. So fast is really the one thing that we don't want to be doing when it comes to our health, for sure. Diana is asking about resistance training from me. So in my profile, guys, right above my videos, it says at-home workouts, and there's 9 videos there that you can look at. Yeah, I love this. So yeah, Anne-Marie, I'm a big fan of keeping my hair and organs too. When it comes to water too, as a general thing, like if we're going to the bathroom throughout the day and our urine's not super dark, that's a good indication of our hydration. And that's what we want to actually do. Anyway, yeah. So any last thing, anything you want to say that we haven't talked about? Oh, and someone made a point about you making content here. Have you ever thought about
Ah,
speaking here at all?
I haven't yet. This is my first appearance on a live, so I definitely will. I'll think about it. I'm not sure what I have to say in a creating content kind of way, but I do public speaking at work, so I've got a little bit of.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me to be on camera, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
in terms of the things, I would just want to say thank you to everybody in this room. There's so many great people in this community. It's so supportive. I come almost every morning that you're live. There's several other creators that I try to jump on their lives because the community is making such a difference. I will say this can be such a lonely journey, and there are books, but they don't necessarily tell you all the things that you need. And it really is the support of other people who've been there that makes all the difference. So I just want to thank everybody for the role that you've played in my willingness to keep this going. And AJ, you've been a really great part of that as well. So
Oh, that's very
thanks.
sweet, Christy. You're kind.